Hi guys, it's Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft. Okay, under the Bushcraft Kit series, I'm responding to a viewer who asked me to show more detail about the micro sewing kit that I put into my knife set. So, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. What you're going to need is some good strong polyester sewing thread of at least 10 or 12 pound tensile strength. Now how do you figure that out? Just take it and pull it. If it's a pretty good pull to pop, I mean not just pop, but it's like and it pops, don't cut yourself, wrap it around something. Then it's probably okay for light fishing line, because a lot of times you fish with 4, 6, 8, or 10 pounds. So if it's like 12, 14 pounds of pressure, it's a good fishing line. Small diameter, it'll handle it. You want to use polyester only, because cotton thread will rot and degrade over time. The polyester won't. Okay? You want some small sewing needles. Now what you're going to do with them is take 2 or 3 of the small sewing needles, go ahead and thread all of them onto the same piece of thread, and then tie a little loop so that you have them all together on the little loop. Okay? You want them loose so they can go down together, not spray out where the tops are tied. Okay? You want a kind of a loose loop where I can thread all 3 of them into the bundle. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, let me move the camera over here and I'll show you how to make it up. Stay with me. Okay, sewing thread. What I am using here is a U.S. military bundle of sewing thread that I got surplus many years ago. It was 26,000 yards. Yeah, I've had a lifetime supply of good sewing thread. This stuff is so strong, I really think it's along the lines of like 30, 40 pounds tensile strength, that if you take it and pull it tight in leather and pull, it will actually cut leather like a cheese slicer does. So you got to double or triple it up to sew leather, because otherwise when you pull your stitches tight, it'll actually cut it. So any good strong polyester thread will do for this. Now I'm going to do 15 feet. Now since I am 5 feet 10 inches tall and man's reach equals his height, I'm going to assume about each pull being about 5 feet. So I'm going to pull like so. Full length out. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I'm going to cut it. Now you need a fountain pen, an ink pen. This is simply a regular old snap top, writing instrument pen that you pull the end cap off one end and pull the other, and you're left with a tube of plastic. I've then taken my knife and I've cut it off at the desired length. Normally about 1.5 inches to 2 inches is enough. Okay? Now I need a fairly strong piece of cord, fairly thin. So I'm going to take this piece of 36 bank line and I'm going to unravel it and just use one strand out of it. Is all I'm going to need for this job. So, just like that, one strand. Okay? Now, I'm going to tie a knot in the end of that piece of one strand of bank line. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to kind of hook it up under my fingernail just a little bit, just like that. And now I'm going to put 3 fingers sitting there. I'm going to pinch my thread between my fingers, and I'm going to wrap it around these 3 fingers, just like this. Nice and slow. Excuse me. 2 fingers. 2 fingers. Take it around 2 fingers. Nice and slow. Being careful to overlap. Same place. Every so often, kind of run out the twist that you're putting into it. Come up, I pinch it with my thumb, and I run my finger out because it's twisting around in circles as I'm wrapping it, and you want to untwist it, otherwise it'll kink up on you pretty bad. Okay, when you get down to where you got like 2 feet left, what you're going to do is grab that piece of bank line, pull it so it's a good deal longer, you know, so it's not going to slip out from under it. And you want to very gently work your coiled thread off your fingers. That's where that piece of bank line also helps, because you can kind of pull it off the top. Get my finger out of it without kinking it up too bad. Just like that. Now I want to take that bank line in my hand and the end of the thread in my hand, so that the hank of thread is out here in the front. And now I want to start wrapping up that hank of thread. Working my way, scooting up as I do, so that entire loop is wrapped almost to the very end. When you get almost to the end, change direction, come back toward the middle. Just keep wrapping it until you get down here at the end. Now you have your little hank of sewing thread. Now you take that bank line and you run it through the tube, which you just cut off. Pull it so that the end of the thread just comes up against it, and then grab it and kind of twist the plastic. At the same time, kind of pinch the end of the thread, and you will pull it into the beginning of the tube. Now once you got it started like this, now's when you want to stop and take the sewing threads and slide them down inside the center of this bundle we've just made, right here at the end, so that the threads are actually inside the bundle. They're not on the sides, they're in the middle of this bundle. Once I get them fully in there, and all my little stragglers, if I got a little straggler somewhere, pick it up and twist it around. I pull the bank line until it is fully inside, just like that. Any little piece you got left sticking out, just cut it off, just like that. Now I take the bank line, I do an overhand loop, both threads, push them all the way down to the end so it's against the thread. Now I'm going to pinch it and cut it off right there. There. Now I have a micro sewing kit. I have 3 needles, which I didn't put in, but you know what I mean. I have 3 needles and 15 feet of sewing thread inside of that teeny tiny little tube. Now this knot is where I'm going to pull it out. When time comes for me to use it, I'm just going to grab this knot and the whole thing will slide out. And I can unthread it and straighten it out and cut what I need, set up my sewing thread, do my sewing, and then what's left, I reverse the order. I coil it back up, I put it on a new piece of pull through, and I pull it through the tube. And there's my micro sewing kit. Having one of these little bitty sewing kits can be a real lifesaver when you've tore your clothing or a piece of equipment's failed or whatever. By carrying it like this, and you could seal over the ends now with tape if you want to make it kind of waterproof. I've got an emergency kit that I can sew up and protect my gear, repair my gear, etc. And it makes all the difference when you're in the middle of nowhere and that strap gives out, or you've gone to step down and something's snagged and tore your pants really bad, and now all the insects and it's grabbing things, and you just want to tack it in place till you get home. Having this makes life a lot easier. It weighs nothing, it fits just about anywhere, and it makes for a lot of potential in a little bitty package. Hope you liked it, guys. Please leave any questions or comments. I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.